All right, guys, the moment of truth has arrived. It is Friday, 48 hours before the Super Bowl. I think predictions are predictable and boring, and I'm not really entertained by them. Not to mention, I know where y'all stand. You, come to find out, this week you're an Eagles fan, so I know you're picking Philadelphia. You have been an Eagles fan for most of the year, so I know you're picking Philadelphia.
Eagles fan for the playoffs.
For the playoffs, okay.
Especially against San Francisco.
Good timing, yes.
Especially.
Good timing. I'm not going to go with predictions, but I'm going to ask you this because we're all storytellers, and I don't know a better storyteller than you, Michael. So
two-part. I bet you do. But anyway, go ahead.
Two-part question.
Yeah.
Double barrel, two-part question.
Double
I'm breaking my own rule, breaking Sawatsky's rule. What to you is the biggest of many storylines going into Super Bowl 57, and what will be the biggest storyline coming out of Super Bowl 57?
Biggest story going in is the potential coronation of Patrick Mahomes as next in line. It was poetic. Tom Brady retired before the Super Bowl. And could anybody be the next Tom Brady? Could anybody do what Belichick and Brady did? And so here you have Reed and Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes added to his legend in the AFC Championship game, playing on a high ankle sprain. And he's already been to a Super Bowl. He's been to two. He has won a championship already. He got a Super Bowl MVP. If he wins this one, now we're starting to talk, okay, how far can this go? He's not even close.
Feels like we've already been having that conversation, right?
But now it's like, here he is. Here it is, the moment.
Yeah. Coming out?
That's coming.
That's
coming
going
out,
in. Coming out. Since you're picking Eagles.
It's going to be the Philadelphia Eagles being able to. I think it's pretty impressive. My 49ers hatred aside, sports hatred. They will be a team that has won 2 championships, 2 different quarterbacks, 2 different head coaches in a 5-year span with 2 different approaches. They have some leftover players from the 2017 Super Bowl champions, a few of them, but this is a new batch. This is a new approach, and I think Jalen Hurts and the Eagles will cap it. I don't think Hurts, you don't like predictions, but just I can't help myself.
You got to, yeah.
Can't help myself. I don't think Hurts is going to be the MVP.
Okay.
Natalie and Mike, but I think Hurts is going to be a significant part of this game when Philadelphia does win it, and wins it convincingly.
Okay. Natalie, how about you?
Yeah.
Journalist of the week that you've been.
Well, I actually think that will be one of the surprise stories coming out, the way Jalen's going to perform. I feel like it's not expected. Philadelphia has like a great team all around, right? And so we had Kai Williams on Key, and she was saying that, they're going to win it in the trenches. A lot of people have been talking about that. Just talking about, all around everything that they have. And so I think like the way everyone talks about, or I hear many talking about this matchup, is Pat Mahomes and what he's going to do to uplift the Chiefs. But then when they talk about the Eagles, it's like, oh, well, Jalen doesn't have to do much. And also, he's also coming off an injury. I just want to remind people because like that's being overlooked. So I think he's going to be the surprise story. I think he's going to rise to the occasion and surprise people when they get that victory.
And what would you say has been the storyline of this week, or the biggest storyline coming into the game for you?
Yeah, for me, I do think it is the historical significance of the 2 black quarterbacks. Yep.
No,
yeah.
I agree, and that's where I want to take it. I wanted to get one last word in on that, because I think back to what black quarterbacks have meant to the history of this game, as in professional football in America, and this game, the Super Bowl. And the first Super Bowl that I ever watched was Super Bowl 22.
That was your first one?
That was the first one I ever watched.
Wow.
Because that would have been January of 1988, following the 87 season.
Wow.
And I would have been 8 years old, going on 9. And I watched it because I had an aunt who made sure that I watched Doug Williams perform as the starting quarterback and the eventual Super Bowl MVP, throwing 4 touchdown passes for the then Washington Redskins, where we don't say anymore, and making history. And not just making history, but making history at the expense of the quote-unquote prototypical quarterback for that time and maybe all time, John Elway. And that moment, that game was so instrumental in my love affair with the NFL. And Jalen Hurts alluded to this, and he was speaking more in general, but he alluded to this when he gave that thoughtful answer to your thoughtful question the other day about kids watching. Now think about the kids that are going to watch these two quarterbacks perform in the Super Bowl. One of them win it. One of them more than likely become MVP and go to Disney World. And this is going to be normal for them. Like right now, and I've been saying this all week, and it's not in no way to diminish the significance or the milestone nature of this, but this isn't a watershed moment because black quarterbacks are so commonplace and black quarterbacks thriving is so commonplace in today's NFL. The best quarterbacks in the league, many of them are black, if not multiracial. The highest paid, the most high profile, Patrick Mahomes is already the face of the league. The game is played in a way that when black quarterbacks were playing it this way, it was frowned upon.
Yeah. So
the game has evolved as such to where we're past proving when it comes to black quarterbacks. We're past the point of a black quarterback success on the biggest stage in American sports and maybe American pop culture being somehow a watershed moment or a time that is going to change hearts and minds about whether or not a black quarterback can be successful at the highest level. We know that, and if you don't know that, you're probably somewhere unemployed at this point. Now, that doesn't mean the conversation around black quarterbacks has evolved all that much. There's still double standards. Welcome to America. There's still double standards. There's still coded language. There's still racism involved with how they're covered, how they're conversed about, how the commentary around them. That's any of us in any walk of life in this country. But when it comes to the opportunity, and when it comes to being compensated, and being held up as faces of franchises, if not the league, black quarterbacks are already there. But some little kids are going to watch this game that has never watched football before, like Michael Smith back in 1988, that's never watched football before. And their love affair with this game is going to be colored, pun intended, by there being two black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. And they're going to say, oh yeah, that's normal to me. I can do that. Or this is all I know is black quarterbacks. Whereas once upon a time, to see a black quarterback on this game was rare, whether it was McNair, whether it was Cam, whether it was McNabb, or Russell Wilson, or Randall. It was like, oh, a black quarterback.
A lot of them, Randall, Dante Culpepper.
Because why did you become a Philadelphia Eagles fan? You ain't from Philadelphia. Why'd you become a Philadelphia Eagles fan?
Because of their history and legacy of black quarterbacks.
Well, I think it's there are many layers to the story, and I think inspiration clearly is one of the big parts of it. Inspiration will happen. It happened for me watching Washington beat down Denver. Remember, Denver got off to a 10-zip lead, and then
35-10.
And then Washington just shut them down after that. And Doug Williams and I think it was Tim Smith.
Timmy Smith.
200 yards. 200 yards. And so there was so much inspiration, so much awe for me. I was in high school. I hadn't seen that before. I remember Public Enemy, Flavor Flav talking about, we got a black quarterback in the Super Bowl. Now take that. It was like a whole thing. It was like a lot of pride over this moment. So inspiration will happen. But I think the other thing, and this is not something I necessarily am excited about as a parent, with inspiration, there may come revelation too.
Bars.
Because now you've watched this as a kid. And you see that this is possible. Now you're going to start, your eyes are open to some of the other inconsistencies.
Right, head coaching.
Part of the league. Your eyes are open to Jim Trotter asking a question to the commissioner of the NFL. Do you have a problem? Is there some kind of discomfort with black leadership? Your eyes are open. Whatever the Indianapolis Colts are going to do with their head coaching position.
We've come so far, but it just illuminates how far we got to go.
And what happened now that Steve Wilkes is a defensive coordinator and Brian Flores is a defensive coordinator. So, yes, that inspiration will also open some eyes.
That's
and now
real.
I like that. I like that. And it should not just be from children of color.
We have not arrived. We're on our way, though. So I'll wrap it up with answering my own question. So that's the story going in for me. Coming out, you mentioned coordination and conversation about the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm picking the Chiefs. I've gone back and forth because I agree that the physicality of the Philadelphia Eagles on both lines, offensive and defensive, that's going to be a lot. But I'm going to pick the Chiefs. I think a kingdom becomes a dynasty. And Andy Reid enters into that pantheon of all-time great coaches. I mean, it's hard to pass Belichick.
He's not there?
Well, I think he's there, but I don't know if he's mainstream there. I don't know if he's constantly, brought up in the Lombardi and Landry and Paul Brown and Bill Belichick and Parcells. Yeah. I don't know, but not just winning a Super Bowl, which he's already done with. Oh, excuse me, he's taken 2 teams to the Super Bowl. I beg your pardon. Mm-hmm. Won it with the second team. Now going to beat his former team, so there's some full circle closure there. I think now being a multiple Super Bowl champion, which I think he will be after Sunday, puts Andy Reid on a different level. And look at the way he's evolved with the game, the quarterback whisperer he's been, the quarterbacks he's developed, that he's won with. A name that doesn't come up enough when it comes to all-time great coaches in my mind is Joe Gibbs. We mentioned Doug Williams. Joe Gibbs, 3 Super Bowls, 3 quarterbacks, 3 running backs. Andy Reid, the success he's had with Donovan and Michael and Alex and Patrick. The offense, he's been at the avant-garde, at the forefront of offensive ingenuity and evolution in the NFL. Andy Reid, man, I think he's going to be a big conversation once the Chiefs, beat y'all Eagles, and a kingdom, like I said, becomes a dynasty.
Okay. But by the way, it doesn't become a dynasty until you get your 3rd.
Oh, is that the rule?
Yeah, 3rd. Three for a dynasty in a short span.
Okay.
That's for a dynasty. And then for an all-time GOAT, to be on the GOAT farm for a quarterback, 4.
Okay.
So if the Chiefs win, Mahomes will be halfway to the GOAT farm.
Well, speaking of 3, I kind of like this little 3-way thing we got going here.
I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank y'all. Thanks for hanging out.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.